Welcome to the Four Ps podcast. Thank you so much for being on the being a part of the program. Thank you so much for uh, making sure that I'm an appointment at least sometime during your week. One thing that's so cool about podcasts is podcasts are uploaded on a certain day, and then you go and see if you've missed anything, and then you pull them up. I know there's a couple of podcasts that I watch all the time that, again, I pull it up. If it's there, it's there. If it's not, it's not. But that is great. Today, I am wearing an All Blacks, which is the rugby team, football team, rugby team in New Zealand. So I am wearing a New Zealand t-shirt, polo today. It's actually really, really cool. I love this thing. It's really comfortable, and I feel like I'm one of the rugby players for the All Blacks in New Zealand. Even though no, I'm way too old to do that for a long period of time. So that's not me. But I love watching the All Blacks. I also love watching the Black Ferns. I think that that is I mean, seriously, especially for people doing business classes and stuff like that, especially when they're talking about teamwork and things like that. That is the most organized and well put together team I've ever seen in my life. It is really great. I'm going to tell you why I'm wearing this shirt a little bit later on at the end of the show. But today I have someone on the show. This woman's father if you have ever watched at least 2 seconds of the Four Ps podcast and gone back. He is last 2 years in a row. I mean, he has been like the most downloaded guy on the podcast, other than me. But of course, I always get it because it's my show. But this guy, Philip McDonald, has been on the show quite a bit. I've interviewing his daughter. He brought his daughter up a couple times in the past when he's been on our show, but and I've met Laura, when I was in Australia. She is literally like part of my family. She really is. She's a very, 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 very intriguing individual. She's extremely intelligent. I mean, sometimes having a conversation with her, it really humbles me as an individual. Trust me on that. It humbles me to have a conversation with her. She is very academic, very studious, very thorough in everything she does. She's also very strong. And we have a lot of podcasts. The four P's are planning, our purpose, planning, passion, and persistence. And I really, really love the stories of persistence. I've always been drawn to people who have gone above and beyond and who have overcome so many obstacles to get to where they are. When you hear Laura's story started at birth and she had to fight. She is a strong fighter. And when we come back, you're going to hear her story. And the miraculous thing about her is her demeanor during this whole thing. She is a beautiful person inside and out, and you're not going to stop listening. This is not one of those things, people do listen to podcasts all the time, and they go around and I do it all the time. I drive or I start thinking about something else or whatever, and then I have to go back because I missed the whole podcast. This one, you're not. Laura McDonald, when we come back.
Every story begins with a truth. Some stories are meant to inspire. Some are meant to heal. All deserve to be heard. At Veritas Publishing House, we bring truth to life through the written word. At Veritas, we guide authors from vision to visibility with purpose, planning, passion, and persistence. This is more than just publishing. It's legacy. Veritas Publishing House, publishing truth, inspiring purpose.
Welcome back to the Four Ps podcast. Again, introducing my guest today. I introduced her before and I'm going to say, her dad is like a brother to me, so I'm going to introduce her as my niece. Because she is a phenomenal individual. The whole family, the McDonald family over in Australia, that is the semblance of strength. I mean, there's no doubt about it. They are all strong. They are principled. And they have stories and they have the wounds and they have all of the t-shirts that you need to prove that they are worthy of the respect and honor that they receive. And for them to even, allow someone like me into their circle is more than an honor. And so I want to introduce Laura McDonald to the program. How are you doing, Laura?
Good, thank you, Trunnis. Good morning. Thank you for that lovely introduction.
You're welcome. You're welcome. You're very welcome. Today I'm wearing a hoodie. I'm wearing this. And this, do you know what this is in the United in here in the do you know what that is?
Ooh, I'm going to say maybe it is baseball, but no, I'm thinking no. I'm thinking it's
It
more
is
of a
not
warrior thing.
baseball. Well, you know what? This year I can say they are Warriors. I am very, and I'm going to give a shout out to my hometown of Buffalo, New York. This is the Buffalo Sabres, and this is hockey here in the United States. So you have AFL, and AFL. When I was just there a couple weeks ago, I actually fell in love with the AFL. Okay. I really fell in love with the AFL. But then I come home and the team that I showed you, the Buffalo Sabres, for the first
Yes.
time. So I've been a grandfather for 11 years. Okay. Almost 12. And for the first time as a grandfather, remember 11 years, that's a long time. For the first time as a grandfather, I am going to be able to sit down and watch an NHL playoff game with my favorite team, the Buffalo Sabres, playing. So I wanted to wear this sweatshirt today because I will be watching the Sabres in the playoffs for the first time in 14 years. So many
Wow.
things have happened. As a matter of fact, it is the longest playoff drought in not anymore because now the New York Jets, which I'm happy for that. But it is the Buffalo Sabres. I really am. They can go 20 years and I wouldn't bother. It wouldn't bother me. But and now I probably just lost all of the New York fans right there. So everybody watching the podcast in the New York City area just turned me off. But anyway, the Buffalo Sabres were the second longest playoff drought streak in North America. So that
Wow.
was a pretty long, yes, that's how bad they have been for so long. So I'm wearing the hoodie today. I'm wearing it with pride. I will be watching a playoff game tonight, and I'm going to be, well, I don't know who is watching it because they could be watching this in August and there's no hockey going on at all. But I'm watching a playoff game after this recording, and that's what we're doing.
I'll have to
But
check
we
the
are not
score later. Good luck to the team.
absolutely. Thank you very much. And I will say that I am now recording because the time difference at 2 o'clock in the morning. I'm not watching an AFL game, so I turn off all notifications of the AFL, and the very next day I'll watch. And I do like the Sydney Swans, but I am a
That's my
member. I
team.
am a lit that there you go. But I am a bought paid member of the Tasmania Devils. Now they're in the VFL, but next year they'll be oh no, I'm sorry, 2028 they'll be in the AFL. So I can root for the Swans for two more seasons. And
Or you
then the
can root
team
for
that
both because Tasmania is
I
not
can
connected to the mainland.
not yet. There you go. So I'll root for both. So there you go. Well, sports aside, and obviously, your dad and I we talk a lot about sports. He is a phenomenal boxer. He's a trainer. He's a phenomenal athlete. Um, but you are by far a fighter. Um, your dad came out
Yeah.
fighting later on and learned to fight. You have an innate just spirit of fighting. Um, you were born premature.
I was. So I was born 4 months early. I can't remember many days. Long story short, my mum went into labour on Anzac Day, which is Australian New Zealand Army Corps Day, on the 25th of April every year, so coming up. And I was in fetal distress and had the umbilical cord wrapped around my neck once or twice. And the doctors wanted to keep me cooking for another 5 days. And then I was born at 8:40 a.m. on the following on that morning. And my dad was actually the first one to hold me because my mom was very sick. So I fit in the palm of his hand. So if you can imagine, my parents say, if you can imagine a small loaf of bread back then, 30 centimeters, my skin was translucent. I looked like a little alien.
Wow.
Yeah, and you got to remember, I don't remember any of this or feel any of this a lot later that I'm somewhat different. It's probably my earliest memories of being different was probably about maybe age 5, because preemie babies, they suffer a lot of lung conditions, so there's lots of checkups, and my earliest memories are just being in hospitals and sound boosts for hearing impairment, and yeah, my medical history is quite complex, but I don't let it stop me.
No, you don't.
Yeah,
So,
sometimes that's to my detriment, I think.
you could say it's to your detriment, but I will say that, like I said, you're a fighter. So you have gone through quite a bit. I know that you actually, through all of the lung conditions and all the other medical maladies that you had to deal with growing up, you played sports.
I did. So, and I think that comes down to my dad and my mom. Yay to the moms that do Saturday morning sport. Yeah, always. And my parents are divorced, and when my parents got remarried, my mom chose another mad sportsman. And I grew up with two brothers, so being the only girl, and I always wanted to do what the boys could do, you know.
Right.
Weekends with dad was always hiking, out rigging, just exploring the beach and the ocean. So I grew up by the beach, and snowboarding in the winter. I was lucky enough that my dad's granddad Jim, bless him, he had a lot of an impact on my later years, and I might go into why that is. He built with his friends a lodge in the snowy mountains, and we would go skiing. And I first went skiing when I was 7, and just that freedom that sports and being outdoors, it can take you away from the whatever anxiety you've got going on, which I suffer from, whatever PTSD you've got going on, which I also have. Just get out there, get into nature, get away from, as you said, turn off all the notifications. Like just go out into nature, and it's
Yeah.
healing. It lets you like decompress. Yeah, and then the sports part of it too is the community part, which is kind of why I decided during the end of the pandemic to not completely chuck in a career in media. Who knows? I might go back, but I've wanted to start teaching, because that sense of community and going back to like what we need, as you say, like strong people, maybe like strong leaders in the community, people that truly want to connect with each other without any like agenda, and being there for our kids. It's so important. And I can
Yes, it
say that
is.
now
It is.
as 4 and one more coming, or under 7.
One of your I think is your new niece was born on the same day as my granddaughter, just a couple of months ago. They're born on the
Right.
same exact day. I mean, they are the same exact age. Now, technically, because your day starts before ours, she is older than my granddaughter. But yes, they were born on the same day. As a matter of fact, I remember going on this day, speaking about this, I remember posting on Facebook a picture of my granddaughter when she was born. I am not joking. Your dad, it was probably 6 minutes later, he posted a picture of his granddaughter that was just born on Facebook. It was just like that. They were born the same day.
That is crazy. How's the little one going?
She is great. She can get whatever she wants from granddad. That is no doubt about it. Anything
That
she wants, I don't care. So
that
I would
that
rob a
sounds
bank for her.
yeah.
Absolutely. So she knows that. So, going back to, you were in media, you have done quite a bit. You have overcome quite a bit. You are very academic. But before we go that, what did you do for media? What did you do in the media realm, or what were you studying?
Yeah, so I am fortunate enough that English literature is my thing. I come from, my dad loves to read too, but my mom's side of the family are quite academic. My mom's cousins. One is a veterinarian, far more disciplined with his study when he was younger, I hear, than I was. Actually reminds me a bit of your brother's book when he talks about studying and the discipline required. It's like a marine. It's you've got to be dedicated. My younger brother has that more. He'll be hopefully, if he passes, a doctor at the end of the year.
He will be.
And yeah, and then two of mum's other cousins, they're both king's counsels. So that ability to knuckle down and isolate yourself, as we know from and me studying from being a teacher, it's part genetics, part somewhere in the brain, but a lot more of it I think comes down to that personality and that discipline. For me, I'm going through a bit of a mental thing because uni's online now, like everything's online, and there's that sense of community. It's there, but it's a lot harder to tap into online.
Yeah. Hmm.
So studying full time at home and trying to write this thesis, it's a little bit lonely. But as one of our lecturers reminded us last night, some of us thrive in being introverts or extroverts or somewhere in the middle, and it's just for me the mental lesson I'm learning this time around is I've got to take those proper breaks, and I've got to structure my study away from my normal life, and keep up with sports, keep up with nutrition, and because I have narcolepsy, my sleep pattern.
Right.
It's I actually just spent a week with my dad a couple of weeks back. My sleeping was terrible, and I just wanted to get out of the house for a bit, so I went and stayed with him for a week. Man, it was like I was a teenager again. The drill sergeant in him appeared every morning. It was like, get out of bed, and I was like, oh, I've got to get up.
Yeah, that guy, I tell you, he is definitely I don't want to call him a slave driver. He does push. He really does. And he's up early in the morning. I know when I talk to him, it's like 4 o'clock in the morning his time. And
Yeah.
it's like he's fine with that. So he's good. Um, you brought up a couple of things, and we're gonna go to it. You brought up one thing that I just want, because I know that the audience is like, why does she have this? You talked about PTSD. Can you explain a little bit as to why that is, or if you don't worry about it. But yeah. Mhm.
So I was 21, young, and with my girlfriends, we'd been out all day, but we'd been to an engagement party, and we'd changed clubs. I'm just going to take a sip before.
Mhm.
We'd changed clubs and gone from the usual place. We did all the right thing that young women are told. Look after each other's drinks. I'm sure your listeners know where this is going now, but look after each other's drinks, stay together. At the end of the disco, we'll call it, I got separated from my group as we were walking out, and I started chatting to someone. I was a little bit drunk, But somehow I ended up across the road from a club, and it just all went really downhill from then. But the thing that got me through the assault was they talk about that fight or flight thing, but I really think you can't control that, or you can never know how you'll end up being in those situations. You think, oh, I'll be off fighting that situation. I didn't fight. I chose to survive. And for a long time throughout my early 20s, and I thought I'd dealt with it in some ways, and in hindsight I probably hadn't dealt with it as the best I could. Like I put it down.
Yeah.
Nothing can get me again. I'm all right. But when you don't deal with things properly, they can rear their ugly head in different ways, affecting your relationships or ability to form relationships, attracting the wrong people.
Yeah.
And yeah, so a lot of my 20s was spent just, living and partying a little bit. And then till I realized one day, talking to my younger brother, and this is the guy that's going to be the doctor, and he said to me, "Sis, like our family and alcohol," he's like, "Do you want to just try not drinking or social drinking?" And I'm like, "Social drinking, huh? What are you talking about?" And he's like, "Well, you go out and you just have one or two drinks. Everyone else will keep drinking, but then you won't like the party, so you'll just leave." And I was like, well, that's true, because people get to a point, they're not really having fun. They probably think they're having fun, but are they having genuine fun? And I started trying it out, and then I was like, you know what? Nah, this isn't for me, because with my psychological makeup, and they're going out and getting drinking just because you can, and you're with that arty crowd, and you're not gaining anything from the next day or the day after, and then you've got to go to work, and it just it's like you're carrying around, like, I don't know, a weight. And
Yeah. And go ahead.
yeah, so you can see why a lot of younger people now, I guess, too, are just going, drinking's not for me. Like, the culture in Australia is very much, I guess, because it's outdoors, a lot of eating and pubs and clubs and restaurants, like the drinking is there. But yeah, to not drink, I made that choice, and I haven't looked back.
It's funny how you talk about that, and I do know that there are a lot of the younger generation. There are a lot of people that talk about, oh my gosh, the younger generation, this, that, and the other, and they're so bad, they're not. And I'm going to have to beg to differ. Um, the younger generation, I talked to my youngest son, as a matter of fact. He doesn't drink. He works. He's probably one of the most level-headed, coolest kids on the planet. My other son, I have a son, Noah, who, same thing, doesn't drink, not at all. The only beer he's ever bought in his life, as far as I know, is a beer that he bought for me at a hockey game. I kid you not. And I was like, cool, buy me a beer. And he'll never buy another beer from a hockey game again, because that was a very expensive beer. But yeah, I mean, it's just things like that. I noticed that there's a lot. Your generation is very, very, very responsible. And like everything else, you kind of, you have to experiment a little bit and go your way. You have, and again, that's just the drinking part. I'm going to the other part where, you talked about the situation that happened to you. You chose to survive. I want to ask, and I don't know, I'm hesitant to ask, but whatever happened
Oh,
to, did that, anything happen?
so sorry, could you repeat the question again?
Did anything ever happen to that guy?
Ah, yeah. So, I got a phone
Good.
call from the detective. I'm going to say maybe 4 years later, again, the ability to just block it out until, you know, you go remembering it. Now, yeah, the detective called and they had a DNA match, so I haven't been the only person.
I knew that right off the bat, that that somebody, that wasn't his first time. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, and just the method he did it. But crazily enough, the place across the road from the venue in this day and age we live in, mind you, this happened over 15 years ago, but there was no CCTV in the area.
Mm-mm.
Yeah,
Bet you there
yeah.
is now. So I'm glad he got caught. I hope he's still doing some time.
No, so they
Um,
just got the DNA. They've never caught the person yet. Um, you know, but
you know,
if that day happens, that'll be another mental battle I will get through.
you know what? I will say this right now. If that you, I will, knowing your father, knowing other people around you, in your life, if he gets caught, you better hope he gets locked way up. Because it is going to be a really rough day for him. Not just for, I mean, because that's just, and there's a good, over 15 years, knowing someone like that, good chance he's no longer around. There's a very good chance he's no longer around. It just sounds like that because something probably really bad happened to him, or I'm not saying that. Yeah, I'm saying that. Yeah, I something bad probably happened to him. I mean, that's just the way it goes.
Karma.
Yeah, it is. I mean, you can't get away with that I mean, if you have a DNA match and that's not the first time he's done it, and we've got all these time, I mean, just if you look at it statistically, either, he's probably not hanging out with us anymore. So,
Yeah.
yeah, and that's just too bad. Um, you have overcome that. You are a very strong, strong, strong person. And if you haven't overcome it fully, you have learned how to work with it, and that is beautiful as well. You're now working on your master's.
I am.
You are going to be a teacher.
I am.
And
So
now,
yeah,
go ahead.
so elementary school. Yeah, I decided in the late years of the pandemic I'd go and do a master's. Um, and that leads into another battle that I ended up having. Um, do you want me to tell the battle part or?
Go ahead. Tell whatever you want to say. Yeah.
Okay. So I started my master's. I had a really good job as we come out of the pandemic. And so they talk about these things that, when I've done psychology work and that, these things that hold up your life, like, your relationship with your significant other and your job and your health, and I'm not going to say money because that's not what drives me. I just need money to eat and pay rent. But yeah, so I'd lost the job, I guess due to the economic downturn, and also the advance of AI doesn't help. And we'd come out of the pandemic and I was feeling a bit jittery after that. And I met my ex at the time and everything was going really good, but we'd had a massive fight and we were breaking up, and I'd missed my narcolepsy medications that weekend, and it was early January, and I decided, you know what, I'm not dealing with his shit. I need to get back to me and work on me. So I'm going to go for a run this morning and then I'm going to go for an ocean swim. Yeah, my body decided to have a Takotsubo heart condition. And how I would describe that, I'll go back and I'll explain what Takotsubo is. So Takotsubo is
Please.
when
Yeah.
the troponins are racing around the heart a lot. And for women, we know that heart conditions and heart attacks present themselves a lot differently than to men. So I'm 66 kilos and I'm 5 something. So I'm quite petite, and I don't drink at that point. I try and eat all the right things. It was a really humid morning. So I'd ran 4 laps up and down the beach, and then I got in the ocean pool and did a couple of laps. And then I got out and I started feeling this tightness. And I thought, oh, this is not my normal, like, oxygen type. Well, it is, oxygen's not going too well, but not the normal feeling I'm used to with my lungs, or not anxiety. I literally cannot breathe. And the first thing that comes into my mind is, when I was a kid, my dad would always just be like, do this and breathe, open up your lungs and breathe. And so I just kept doing that. And then I felt really, really dizzy. There were a couple of people around, but they must not have noticed. I got myself to the outdoor shower, and then I was like, okay, I'm still sweaty. I feel really nauseous. I'll go to the beach steps. I don't know how, I literally do not know how I did it. And I got to the beach steps, and then I got across the road from the beach to my friend's cafe, and he took one look at me and he was like, sit down, you don't look well. And I'm like, yeah, I don't feel well. And I was still walking around at that point, and he called the ambulance and they laid me down, and one of the other guys knew first aid that happened to be in the cafe, so we just waited. And it was quite funny when the ambulance got there with like their little machines, and the paper comes out, and they both just looked at each other and they went, it was just this silent thing. And I'm like, oh shit, something's up. You know, I've been around medical professionals all my life, and when they do that, I'm like, yay, I'm going to the hospital. So yeah, I was quite scared. And the first thing that the doctor says when I get to the ED was like, has anything happened in your life lately? And I'm like, no, nothing, to cause this. And then she's like, oh, it usually happens, relationship breakdowns, loss of jobs, stress. Stress does not like the human body. And in my case, it led to a very serious heart condition, Takotsubo, named after a Japanese clay pot for fishing, because the academic that researched it said the heart looked like that shape that he'd seen. I think he was a scuba diver or something.
Right.
Yeah, so... And then it was a fun week in hospital, lots of tests, monitoring afterwards, and the cardiac blues from the medication they give you, boy, are they real. So I was, it was a really bloody awful time. But with my brother about to be a doctor, and then my dad and my mom having that, as you say, I had lucky enough to have that family support. And it was funny, not funny, but in the hospital, I ring my brother first, and I'm like, can you not tell mom till like we know like what's happening? And he's like, and he's like, yeah, I know what you mean, but he's like, no, I'm gonna have to call her. And I'm like, maybe call dad first. So I'm worried about everyone else at that point. And the doctors are saying to me, oh, you've got to go have the the camera, the balloon up heart, we got to check everything.
Not catheter, the
dye.
Never mind. I know trouble. Yeah. Dye test, something. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So I'm saying to my brother in a very academic conversation, I'm like, so like how long does this investigation take? Well, what I'm like, I do it, I don't do it. He just goes, sign the goddamn paper. And I'm like, okay, got it. Yeah.
So you are now you're now doing quite well. You're on a very good track. What would you, and you've had a lot of battles, and there probably at your age there's a lot more to come. But the most magnificent thing about you is that I know that you are prepared to fight. And that's the greatest thing about it. With somebody, a young lady like you, who've, I mean, from the day you were born, and you showed up like way too early. I just want you to know that that is your fault. You showed up like 4 months too early. Okay, but
Two.
5 months almost. Yeah, but one thing I do want, what would you like to tell? And I'm going to say this: what would you like to sell young women right now that have their battles as well? And I think young women go through battles a little bit different than young men. Men go through battles too, don't get me wrong. But women have a little added crap that they have to deal with. What would you tell young women right now uh, in order to move forward and keep pushing on?
Yeah, you know what? I think the most important thing is don't do it alone or try to do it alone or shut down. You only need one person and it just someone that you can trust and that you feel heard by and that maybe has the benefit of being a little bit older, so has seen the world a bit and seen how other people can be, if it's the relationships you're in or the relationships you've been around, or that lived experience of an older, wiser person. I really think helps. So find that person and just start the conversation. A lot of the time, it's just we can be so in our minds thinking about it, and for me, I'm a very analytical person, so I will go, oh, it could be A, B, C, D, and then I'm weighing them all up, and 9 times out of 10, I think you already know the answer, but you just need to bounce that off somebody. So go with that, find that person. And the other thing I would say is our ability to think becomes a lot clearer and make better choices becomes a lot clearer if, hey, no alcohol. No, but a lot of things. Just having a routine is so important. Like right now, I'm not working full time. I have freelance jobs here and there, but getting through my thesis is about a routine. So my thesis is my job, and getting up at the same time. I still make my bed. On the odd occasion, I don't. I'm like, damn it. But that little bit of that self-discipline, but you can make those little things self-discipline happen as just daily things. It take time for you. I really like how you said about the notifications and that. So find a safe, happy place to just zone out, even if it's just for like half an hour, and just meditate or go for a walk. So the routines, the finding someone safe to talk to, the safe space to process things away from all that extra stimuli. And my fourth one is if you're thinking about making that progress and taking that next step and you really want to get there, there's no such thing as can't. You will get there. It might take longer than you expected. It might not. And I'm talking from a little bit of wisdom here, so I'm nearly 40.
You are.
I don't feel like it though, which I guess is
No.
good. Things are never linear, and it's not till after you go through them that you go, oh, maybe that did happen because of that, or like we could have done better, or we all could have chosen left over right. But things will eventually become a little bit clearer, and I think it's just trusting in that process that you're going to get through whatever you're going through. You can do it. You just got to find the tools to do it.
Absolutely. Laura McDonald, definitely a friend, a family member indeed. You are definitely you're an inspiration, and there are a lot of young women and young men and old women and old men who can learn a lot from your strength, your determination, and your just unstoppable drive. It really is. It's there. And I am proud to know you. I'm proud to know your entire family. Laura, we will be right back right after this.
Some fathers teach you how to stand tall. Others teach you how to survive. In Lessons from My Father, Dr. Trunnis Goggins II confronts the legacy of a powerful, complicated man and the truths no one talks about. This is a story of discipline and damage, loyalty and fear, love that left scars. Because sometimes the hardest lesson is understanding the man who made you. Lessons from My Father. Available now on Amazon, Barnes & Noble, and anywhere you buy books.
Welcome back to the 4Ps podcast. Now, you're wondering why I'm wearing a New Zealand shirt or a polo. I'm wearing it because we will be in New Zealand in June. We are going for a book launch. This is our first New Zealand author. It is Talia Sheffy. She will be on our podcast here in the next couple of weeks, talking about her new book. And I'm going to let you tell. I'm going to let her tell you about it. It's a great book. We'll be in Auckland, New Zealand, on June 20th for her release. I will be there before. I always try to take a couple days from the work schedule to make sure that I can do some fun stuff. I have not yet pulled up the schedule for the All Blacks if they are playing, and I don't think they will be, but because it's in June. But if they are, you can bet your bottom dollar I will be at that game watching. I have not ever. I've watched on TV. I've obviously watched on YouTube. I've never been to a professional rugby game. I would love to go. Even though I'm a member of and I am a member of the AFL, the VFL right now, soon to be AFL franchise, the Tasmania Devils, and have the gear and all that other stuff. And I'm watching them whenever I can. YouTube clips right now because they're in the VFL, so I don't have them here in the United States yet. Got to find a way to stream it over here because I am a member. So I'm a paid member of that team. I am one of them. They have the thing called One of Us. It's really cool. And I am definitely one of them. I am one of us. And so I will be in New Zealand like I said, the event is going to be June 20th. You're going to see more of that. We'll talk a lot more of that when Talia comes on the program. But I'm also wearing this. We had an Australian guest. I have a New Zealand polo. I'm keep on calling it t-shirt. It's not a t-shirt. It's actually a really nice polo. It's a rugby shirt. But I also I'm celebrating today. Well, I don't want to say celebrating. That is the wrong word to say. So I'm not doing that. I am commemorating Anzac Day. And I'm a veteran here in the United States, and I have had, families. Obviously, my grandfather. I talk about him a lot. My brother, he was in the military. I've had a brother-in-law in the military, uncles that were in the military. I now have my next generation in the military right now as we speak. I'm so damn proud of that guy. I really am. But one thing is the history that Australia, New Zealand, and the United States share. Now, the United States has nothing to do with Anzac Day. This is a strict Australian, New Zealand observation. It is a commemoration of the invasion of Kalpoli Peninsula when they went in together. It was a joint force of Australians and New Zealanders. Collectively, they lost about 11,000 troops between the two nations. And even though it wasn't a military success the way they wanted it to be, it is a day that they commemorate. It is a day where two nations got together and stood tall in World War I. And that bond is still shared between those two nations. As a matter of fact, I want to share a little bit. Even when you go into to Australia, at least I have not been to New Zealand yet. I'll be there in a couple of weeks, 8 weeks to be exact. And when I go there, I'll see the same thing. But when you go into Australia, even the way you enter, if you have a New Zealand, you're treated differently because of that. That bond between the two. Anzac Day is a very important day. Obviously, we just got finished talking to the Anzac story that we just got from Laura But it is a day of commemoration. It is a day of honor, to be honest with you. A lot of people, died and risked their lives fighting for the freedom of both great nations, New Zealand and Australia. And I just want to say that, I will, observe that and recognize that and honor that day with you. So Anzac Day is April 25th. Every April 25th, they celebrate it. It is an extremely important holiday and commemoration. It is a very important day along the lines of our Memorial Day here in the United States, maybe our Veterans Day as well. I know it does fall in line with like Armistice Day and things like that. Same thing. I don't care what country you're from. There are people that did shed blood to make sure that the country stood. Here in the Western world, we stood for your freedom. In the United States, we stood for your freedom. Australia, they stood for your freedom. New Zealand stood, they fought for your freedom, and so on and so forth. And I do recognize the sacrifice that you made. I also honor the troops that are there right now, manning and standing the watch in Australia and New Zealand. It is a very hard job to do. And it just gets harder and harder every time. It gets harder and harder every single day. And I do appreciate the sacrifices you make, not only the sacrifices you make in the field, but the sacrifices that you make at home, because you are sacrificing a lot at home to stand up for the freedoms of those you love. Next week, we will have Jennifer Jensen. You've seen her before on this program. She is again, I'm going to have two smart women back to back right on this program. And she is from Canada. She has been on this program before. She is re-releasing her book. We'll talk about that next week as well. Jennifer is outstanding individual. She's also going to be talking about something else that's really, really cool, and you are going to really love that. She is really utilizing technology to help leaders throughout the world. Until next week, we will talk to you then, and have a great one. Goodbye.